Hello, and welcome to the Victoria English Podcast. I am your host, Victoria, and I am so happy that you decided to join me today. Learning English is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Today, we are going to talk about a very important word in English. That word is have. Now, you might think that have is a simple word, and you are right. It is simple, but it is also very powerful. We use have in so many ways in English, and if you learn how to use it correctly, your English will improve so much. So let's sit back, relax, and dive into the wonderful world of have. When we start learning English, one of the first verbs we learn is have. It is everywhere. We hear it in conversations, we read it in books, and we see it in movies and TV shows. But here is the thing. Have is not just one verb. It is actually many verbs in one. It can mean to own something. It can mean to eat or drink something. It can mean to experience something. It can even be used as a helper verb to talk about the past. So if you have ever felt confused about have, do not worry. That is completely normal. Every English learner goes through this, and today we are going to clear up all that confusion. Let us start with the most basic meaning of have. The most common way we use have is to show that we own something or that something belongs to us. When you say, I have a car, it means that the car is yours. When you say, she has a dog, it means that the dog belongs to her. This is the easiest way to use have, and it is a great place to start. So think about your own life. What do you have? You might have a phone. You might have a job. You might have a family. You might have a house. All of these things are things that you own or things that are part of your life. And when you talk about them, you use the verb have. Now, I want you to notice something important. The verb have changes depending on who you are talking about. In the present tense, we say I have, you have, we have, and they have. But for he, she, and it, we say has. This is a very common mistake that English learners make. They might say he have a car instead of he has a car. So remember, for he, she, and it, you always use has. This is one of those rules that you just have to practice until it becomes natural. So repeat after me in your mind. I have, you have, he has, she has, it has, we have, they have. This is the foundation of using have correctly. But have is not just about owning things. We also use have to talk about our daily activities. For example, we use have with meals. We say, I have breakfast in the morning. We say, she has lunch at noon. We say, they have dinner together. When we say, have breakfast, we do not mean that we own breakfast. We mean that we eat breakfast. So in this case, have means to eat or to drink. This is a very common use of have, and you will hear it all the time. You might hear someone say, I am having coffee right now. This means they are drinking coffee. You might hear someone say, we are having pizza for dinner. This means we are eating pizza for dinner. So have can replace verbs like eat, drink, or even enjoy when we are talking about food and drinks. Another way we use have is to talk about experiences. When you say, I had a great day, you mean that you experienced a great day. When you say, she had a wonderful time at the party, you mean that she experienced a wonderful time. When you say, we had a lot of fun, you mean that we experienced a lot of fun. So here, have is not about owning anything. It is about what happened to you or what you felt. This is such a useful way to use have because we talk about our experiences all the time. We talk about our vacations, our weekends, our work days, and our time with friends and family. And every time we do that, we can use have. Now, let us think about the past tense of have. The past tense of have is had. This is very simple because it is the same for everyone. I had, you had, he had, she had, it had, we had, they had. It does not change. So when you want to talk about something that happened in the past, you use had. For example, I had a car last year. This means that last year I owned a car. Maybe I do not own it now, but I did own it then. Another example is she had breakfast at 7 o'clock. This means she ate breakfast at 7 in the past. We had a great time at the beach yesterday. This means we experienced a great time yesterday. So had is the past tense, and it is so easy because it never changes. You do not have to worry about he has or she has in the past. It is always had for everyone. But wait, There is more. Have is also used as a helper verb, and this is where things get really interesting. In English, we use have to make the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense is used to talk about things that happened in the past, but are still important now. For example, I have seen that movie. This means that I saw the movie at some point in the past, and I am talking about it now. She has finished her homework. This means she finished her homework, and now it is done. We have visited Paris twice. This means we visited Paris 2 times in the past, and we are telling you about it now. In these sentences, have or has is used with another verb to show that something happened before now. The other verb is in a form called the past participle. For regular verbs, the past participle ends in addition. For example, worked, talked, walked. For irregular verbs, the past participle can be different. For example, seen from see, finished from finish, and visited from visit. The present perfect tense can be tricky for English learners because it does not exist in every language. But the key is to remember that we use it when the past action is connected to the present. For example, if you say, I have lost my keys, it means you lost them in the past and you still do not have them now. If you say, I lost my keys, it could mean you lost them and then you found them again, or it could mean you lost them and you still do not have them. But the present perfect makes it clear that the result is still there. So practice using have as a helper verb, and it will make your English sound much more natural. Another important use of have is with the verb got. Many English speakers, especially in casual conversation, use have got to mean have. For example, I have got a car means the same as I have a car. She has got a new job means the same as she has a new job. Have got is very common in British English, but it is also used in American English, especially in informal situations. It is a way to add a little emphasis. However, you should know that have got is only used in the present tense. You cannot say, I had got a car to mean I had a car. In the past tense, you just use had. So have got is a useful tool to have in your English toolbox, but it is not something you have to use all the time. You can just use have and has and be perfectly understood. Now, let us talk about the negative forms of have. To make have negative, we use do not or does not and sometimes did not for the past. For example, I do not have a car. She does not have a dog. They do not have time. We did not have a good time. In these sentences, we use do or does or did with have. But there is also a more formal way to make have negative, and that is I have not or she has not. For example, I have not a car is old-fashioned and not used very much anymore, but I have not seen that movie is very common because have is being used as a helper verb. So when have is the main verb and it means to own something, we usually use do not have. When have is a helper verb for the present perfect, we use have not or has not. Let me give you some examples to make this clear. If I want to say that I do not own a house, I say I do not have a house. If I want to say that I have never visited a certain place, I say I have not visited that place. Both are correct, but they're used in different situations. So remember, when have means to own, use do not or does not. When have is a helper verb, use have not or has not. This is a very important distinction, and once you understand it, you will feel much more confident using have in your conversations. Now, let us talk about questions. How do we ask questions with have? If have is the main verb and it means to own something, we use do or does for present tense questions. For example, do you have a car? Does she have a dog? Do they have time? In the past tense, we use did you have a car? Did she have a dog? Did they have time? These are very common questions, and you will hear them all the time. If have is a helper verb for the present perfect, we just put have or has at the beginning of the question. For example, have you seen that movie? Has she finished her homework? Have they visited Paris? This is a different structure, but it is just as easy once you get used to it. Let us practice this with some simple questions and answers. Imagine I ask you, do you have a phone? You could answer, yes, I have a phone. Or, no, I do not have a phone. Imagine I ask you, have you eaten lunch? You could answer, yes, I have eaten lunch. Or, no, I have not eaten lunch yet. See how the structure changes depending on whether have is the main verb or a helper verb. This is something you can practice every day until it feels natural. Now, let us talk about some common expressions with have. English is full of expressions that use have in a special way. For example, have a good time means to enjoy yourself. Have a nice day is a friendly way to say goodbye. Have a seat means to sit down. Have a look means to look at something. Have a chat means to talk to someone. Have a break means to take a rest. Have a shower means to take a shower. Have a drink means to drink something. These expressions are used all the time, and they are very useful to know. The word have is like a key that unlocks so many everyday phrases. Once you learn these expressions, your English will sound much more natural and fluent. Let me give you some examples of these expressions in action. Imagine you are at a party and someone says, "Have a good time." You can say, "Thank you, I will." Imagine you are a guest in someone's home and they say, "Have a seat." You can say, "Thank you." Imagine you are with a friend and they say, "Let us have a coffee." You can say, "That sounds great." Imagine you are tired and someone says, "Have a break." You can say, "Yes, I need one." These expressions are part of everyday English and they make conversations flow more smoothly. Now, let us talk about the pronunciation of have. In American English, we often pronounce have as have in fast speech. We do not say have with a very strong V sound. It is softer, almost like half sometimes when it is not stressed. For example, in the sentence, "I have a car," we often say, "I have a car" very quickly. The V sound is not always pronounced fully. This is something you will hear a lot when you listen to native speakers. The more you listen to English, the more you will notice this. And when you practice speaking, try to imitate the way native speakers say have. It will make your pronunciation sound more natural. There is another important point I want to mention about have. In some cases, have can mean to take something or to accept something. For example, "I will have the chicken." This is what you say when you are ordering food at a restaurant. You are saying that you want to eat the chicken. "I will have a coffee" means you want to drink a coffee. This is a very polite way to order, and it is used all the time in restaurants and cafes. You might also hear "I will have that" when someone is choosing between two things. It means "I will take that one." So have can be used in so many ways, and each way is useful in daily life. Let us think about the different meanings of have in one sentence. For example, "I have a car, I have breakfast at 8, and I have a good time on weekends." In this one sentence, have means 3 different things. It means own, eat, and experience. This is the beauty of English. One word can do so much. And once you learn all the ways to use have, you will see that it is not confusing at all. It is actually very simple and very logical. Now, I want to give you some practice sentences. I want you to try to say these sentences out loud. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. So repeat after me in your mind. I have a new phone. She has a beautiful smile. We have a big family. They have a nice house. He has a job he loves. I had a great day yesterday. We had pizza for dinner. She had a wonderful vacation. I have seen that movie before. She has never been to New York. We have finished our work. They have bought a new car. Do you have a minute? Does he have a question? Have you ever been to Paris? Has she called you yet? I do not have a car. She does not have a job. They do not have enough money. We did not have a good time. I have not eaten breakfast yet. She has not finished her homework. We have not decided yet. Have a good day. Have a seat. Have a drink. Have a good time. These sentences cover all the ways we use have, and they are great for practice. Now, let us talk about some common mistakes that English learners make with have. One mistake is using have with he or she in the present tense. Remember, you always say has for he and she. So do not say he have a car. Say he has a car. Do not say she have a dog. Say she has a dog. This is one of those rules that you just need to remember, and with practice, it becomes automatic. Another mistake is using had in the wrong place. Had is always past tense. So do not say I had a car now. Say I have a car now. And do not say I have a car yesterday. Say I had a car yesterday. This is about matching the time of the verb to the time you are talking about. It is a simple rule, but it takes some practice to remember. Another common mistake is confusing have and has with have got and has got. Remember, have got and has got mean the same as have and has. So, I have got a car is the same as I have a car. She has got a dog is the same as she has a dog. But you do not use have got in the past tense. You cannot say, I had got a car. You just say, I had a car. Also, have got is informal, so in very formal writing, it is better to just use have and has. This is a small detail, but it is good to know. Another mistake is forgetting to use do or does in questions and negatives when have is a main verb. For example, do not say, you have a car if you mean a question. Say, do you have a car? Do not say, he not have a car if you mean negative. Say, he does not have a car. In English, we need the helper verb do to form questions and negatives for most verbs, including have. This is an important rule, and it can take some time to get used to. But once you master it, you will see how much it helps your grammar. And one more common mistake is using have instead of be in some expressions. For example, we say, I am hungry, not I have hungry. We say, she is tired, not she is tired. So remember, when you are talking about feelings or states like hunger, tiredness, or happiness, you usually use be and not have. This is a good rule to remember because it is very common for English learners to mix these up. Now, let us do some more practice with conversations. Imagine you are in a restaurant. You are sitting at a table and the waiter comes to take your order. The waiter says, what would you like to have? You can say, I will have the pasta. Your friend says, I will have the salad. The waiter says, would you like to have a drink? You say, yes, I will have a lemonade. Your friend says, I will have a coffee. The waiter says, great. Have a nice meal. This is a very simple conversation, but it shows you how have is used in real life. It is used for ordering, for choosing, and for being polite. Now, imagine you are talking to a friend about your day. You say, I had a really busy day today. Your friend says, oh really? What did you have to do? You say, I had a meeting in the morning and then I had lunch with my boss. After that, I had to finish a report. Your friend says, did you have a good time? You say, actually, I did not have a great time, but I am glad it is over. Your friend says, well, have a relaxing evening. This conversation shows how have can mean many different things, from experiencing to eating to being obligated to do something. Now, imagine you are at work and your boss asks you, have you finished the project? You say, yes, I have finished it. Your boss says, great. Have you sent it to the client? You say, not yet. I will have it sent by the end of the day. Your boss says, good. Have a productive afternoon. This conversation shows how have is used as a helper verb in questions and answers. Now, let us talk about some more advanced uses of have. There is a construction in English called have something done. This is used when you arrange for someone else to do something for you. For example, I have my car repaired every year. This means that I take my car to a mechanic and the mechanic repairs it. I do not repair it myself. She has her hair cut every month. This means she goes to a hairdresser and the hairdresser cuts her hair. We had our house painted last summer. This means we hired painters to paint our house. This is a very useful construction because it shows that you are causing something to happen, but you are not doing it yourself. It is a more advanced use of have, but it is very common in daily life, so it is good to know. Another advanced use of have is in the construction, have someone do something. This means that you ask or cause someone to do something for you. For example, I had my assistant call the client. This means I asked my assistant to call the client. She had her friend help her with the move. This means she asked her friend to help her. We had the plumber fix the sink. This means we asked the plumber to fix the sink. This construction is very common in professional and personal settings, and it makes your English sound more sophisticated. Now, let us talk about the idiom have to. Have to means must or need to. It is used to express obligation. For example, I have to go to work every day. This means it is necessary for me to go to work. She has to finish her homework before dinner. This means it is necessary for her to finish her homework. We had to leave early. This means it was necessary for us to leave early. Have to is a very common phrase, and you will use it all the time. The negative form is do not have to or does not have to, which means it is not necessary. For example, you do not have to come if you are busy. This means it is not necessary for you to come. She does not have to work on weekends. This means it is not necessary for her to work on weekends. This is a very useful phrase, and it helps you express obligation and freedom. It is important to note the difference between have to and must. They are very similar, but have to is more common in everyday conversation, while must is more formal and stronger. For example, I have to go to the store is a normal thing to say. I must go to the store sounds a little more urgent or formal. Both are correct, but if you are a beginner, it is probably easier to use have to. As you get more comfortable with English, you can start using must as well. Another useful phrase is had better. This is used to give advice or to say what is a good idea. For example, you had better study for the exam. This means it is a good idea to study. She had better call her mother. This means it is a good idea for her to call her mother. We had better leave now. This means it is a good idea for us to leave now. This phrase is very useful in daily conversation, and it makes your English sound more natural. Now, let us talk about how to practice using have correctly. The best way to improve is to practice every day. You can start by thinking about your own life. What do you have? What do you have to do today? What did you have for breakfast? What did you have to do yesterday? These are simple questions that you can ask yourself in English. You can also practice by writing sentences in a notebook. Write 10 sentences with have every day. Write 10 sentences with has every day. Write 10 sentences with had every day. Write 10 sentences in the present perfect. Write 10 questions with have and has. The more you write and say, the more natural it will become. Another great way to practice is to listen to English speakers. Listen to podcasts, watch movies, watch TV shows, and listen to music. Pay attention to how people use have. Notice if they say, I have, or I have got. Notice if they say, do you have, or have you. Notice if they say, I had, or I have had. The more you listen, the more you will understand how have is used in real life. And then, when you feel ready, start using it yourself. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Every mistake is a step forward. Let me give you a tip for practicing with a partner or a language exchange friend. You can ask each other questions using have. One person can ask, do you have a pet? The other person can answer. Then they can ask, have you ever traveled to another country? And the other person can answer. You can take turns asking and answering questions. This is a great way to practice, and it is also a fun way to learn about each other. You can also practice expressions like have a good day and have a nice weekend when you say goodbye to each other. These small practices will make a big difference over time. Now, let me share a story about a student of mine. Her name is Maria, and she is from Brazil. When Maria first started learning English, she had a lot of trouble with have. She would always say he have a car instead of he has a car. She would say I have a car yesterday instead of I had a car yesterday. She would get confused about when to use do and when to use have in questions. But Maria did not give up. She practiced every day. She wrote sentences in her notebook. She listened to English podcasts like this one. She watched movies with English subtitles. And slowly, over time, she started to understand. Now, Maria speaks English very well, and she uses have correctly almost all the time. She told me that the key was practice and patience. She said, Victoria, I made so many mistakes at first, but I kept going. And now it feels so natural. Maria's story is a beautiful example of what you can achieve with hard work and dedication. So if you are feeling confused about have right now, do not worry. It is completely normal. Every English learner has been where you are. The important thing is to keep practicing and keep listening. You will get there. I believe in you. And I am here to help you every step of the way. Let us do one more quick review of the key points we learned today. We learned that have can mean to own something. For example, I have a car. We learned that have can mean to eat or drink something. For example, I have breakfast at 7. We learned that have can mean to experience something. For example, I had a wonderful day. We learned that have is a helper verb for the present perfect. For example, I have seen that movie. We learned about the past tense had. We learned about questions and negatives with do and does. We learned about expressions like have a good time and have a seat. We learned about have got and have to. And we learned about the advanced constructions have something done and have someone do something. That is a lot of information, but do not try to remember it all at once. Focus on 1 or 2 points each day and slowly build your knowledge. Now, let me end this episode with a practice exercise. I want you to think about your day today. What did you have for breakfast? What did you have to do this morning? Do you have any plans for the afternoon? Have you had a good day so far? Think about these questions in English. You do not have to say the answers out loud, but you can think about them. And if you want, you can even write them down. This is a great way to practice using have in a natural and personal way. Before we say goodbye, I want to remind you of something very important. Learning a language is not about being perfect. It is about communicating. It is about connecting with other people. So do not worry if you make a mistake with have. Native speakers make mistakes too. The important thing is that you are trying. The important thing is that you are learning. And every time you speak English, you are getting a little bit better. So keep going, keep practicing, and never ever give up. I am so grateful that you spent this time with me today. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you feel more confident about using have in your English conversations. Remember, you can always listen to this episode again if you need to review. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I read all the comments, and I love hearing from you. Your feedback helps me create better episodes for you. So until next time, my dear listeners, I want you to take good care of yourselves. Practice a little bit of English every day. And remember, I believe in you. You have the ability to learn English. You have the determination. And you have the support of this podcast. So go out there and speak English with confidence. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next episode of the Victoria English Podcast. Goodbye for now.